Thank you for joining us on National Focus. I'm Kimani Seja. Coming up, Newtown Primary School formally handed over to the people of Dominica. 5 secondary schools better equipped to say no to drugs, and Ministry of Agriculture observes Pesticide Awareness Week. Stay with us for details of these and other stories after this.
Children, yell and tell if someone tries to abuse you. Tell until someone believes you and they do something about it.
For more information on child abuse or to report suspected cases on child abuse, contact the Social Welfare Division on 33 Great Marlborough Street or call 266-3020 or 266-3080.
Thanks for staying with us. The Chinese government officially handed over the Newtown Primary School to the Dominican people on Monday. The new school was promised in 2012 and contracts were signed late in 2013. The facility is a gift from the People's Republic of China and was constructed by a Chinese firm. At the handing over ceremony on Monday, the Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Roosevelt Skerrit extended thanks to the Chinese government. He spoke to both parents and students about the value of education. This was his statement to the children.
I want to say to my dear students, that you need to take education seriously. You need to study, you need to respect yourself, respect your fellow classmates, respect your teachers, respect your parents, and respect those in authority and those in our society. I want you to stay away from drugs and alcohol. These things have no place in your lives. You can do without it, and therefore you should stay without it. Make yourself proud by being excellent at what you do, and make your parents proud, because many of your parents are sacrificing many things to allow you to have the opportunity to attend school. Uniforms and books.
The nation's leader also addressed teachers of the Newtown Primary School. His comments to take their role seriously can, however, apply to all educators.
What you say and what you do to a child in these 5 hours which you have with him in a day can decide what the child becomes tomorrow.
His Excellency the Chinese Ambassador to Dominica, Li Jiangning, told the nation that he is impressed with government's consistent focus on education. He also told students that this is the best time of their lives.
The new school provides better learning and teaching conditions for students and teachers than before. The high new standard it's set for primary education facilities is a very good thing. Young people are the future of a nation as well as a family. They are, quoting words of the founding father of New China, more than half a century ago, the early morning sun, to whom the future of the world belongs.
The Honorable Education Minister Peter Seja is excited that the project has finally progressed to this point and that yet another promise has been fulfilled.
This is the fruit of commitment. This is the fruit of patience. This is the fruit of steady, solid, principled leadership, and indeed the capacity to get things done.
Just this year in August, the Chinese government furnished the school's computer lab with 34 computers and 10 printers. Each classroom is also equipped with a computer. A second projector was gifted to the school on Monday. GIS News spoke with a mother of 2 students. She remembers the old Newtown Primary School.
It was real bad. It was real bad. But now you can see the improvement.
Bad in what way?
Well, we had the railings. The railings were falling apart. The condition of the washroom, the toilet, it was down and out. The classroom condition, the air, everything was real bad. But now you can see a huge difference, the painting, everything.
The government of Dominica continues its call for collaboration in establishing an international natural disaster risk fund. The Honorable Minister for Foreign Affairs, Francine Barron, reiterated that call as she addressed the general debate of the 70th session of the United Nations General Assembly on September 24. Honorable Barron explained that the fund would provide timely financial support to small island developing states affected by natural disasters.
The current Catastrophic Risk Fund within the Caribbean Development Bank for Caribbean SIDS and the IMF and World Bank Disaster Recovery Facilities are good starting points. Regrettably, in the face of the enormous challenge, their funding levels remain vastly insufficient. We would be quite encouraged should the capitalization of the Special Natural Disaster Risk Fund come from the Annex 1 members and other major emitters, including voluntary contributors. We believe that such a facility would allow SIDS to access and secure funds in a more predictable and timely manner, and to be able to rebuild more robust infrastructure through effective technical assistance and physical development planning. It would also help these climate vulnerable countries to build more climate resilient economies and be able to identify vulnerable areas which need to be adapted and mitigated to better deal with any catastrophic future events.
Honorable Barron added that the government of Dominica has taken effective actions on a national level to improve ability to respond and deliver in post-disaster situations.
This year, Prime Minister Roosevelt Skerrit outlined a proposal to establish a National Vulnerability, Risk and Resilience Fund. This fund aims to ensure that government has immediate access to financial resources in the event of a natural disaster. Funds would also be used to finance climate resilient projects and programs. The capitalization of the fund will come from government revenue and returns from government's investments in renewable energy projects that have already been implemented with grants and concessionary financing through the Green Climate Fund. 2 projects have already been identified: the geothermal energy project and a national waste-to-energy project.
5 secondary schools in the Roseau area are now more equipped to deal with the scourge of drug abuse on the island after receiving information booklets at an assembly on Monday. The assembly was hosted at the St. Mary's Academy by the National Drug Prevention Unit and Crime Stoppers Dominica with materials from Freewind Ferry Services. Head of the National Drug Prevention Unit, Jacinta Banis, addressed the students at the St. Mary's Academy. She told students that the drug problem is a global one which is being addressed strongly through the use of controlled measure, treatment and prevention programs. Banis stated that the drug problem is not only a criminal justice issue, but it is also a public health issue.
According to DrugNet Europe, there is concern over the rise in overdose deaths in some countries and the threat posed by the internet drug markets. New synthetic drugs are finding their ways to street corners, schools, and or recreational areas.
She expressed relief that the unit has not seen many street drugs on the island.
The National Drug Abuse Prevention Unit stands committed to drug demand reduction in our schools and communities. We have established strong links with our primary schools and would like to see the strengthening of that relationship with our secondary schools. I want to recall the theme for Drug Awareness Month: let's develop our lives, our communities, our identities without drugs. I say to you students that Dominica's future looks bright if you remain drug-free and proud. Listen to that. Dominica's future looks bright if you remain drug-free and proud.
The Drug Prevention Unit Director urged the students to be responsible young adults striving for academic, social, and spiritual success.
By staying in school and having no desire for using and consuming alcohol and other drugs, you can lay claim to a bright future. I want to say we have a serious problem with underage drinking in our community, and that doesn't augur well for our future. So if you know your friends are drinking, you have to encourage them to stop.
Diana Pascal, representing Crime Stoppers Dominica, shared these words with the students.
There is a relationship between crime and drugs. As we can see, there are a number of persons destitute in Roseau, and we are aware that in many cases, the use of drugs or the abuse of drugs can cause a number of ills in society. So we want to urge everyone to listen to us here today, and we want to encourage everyone to try as much as possible to stay away from drugs, because we are very aware of the ills that the use of drugs does in society.
The schools who received the booklets were the St. Mary's Academy, St. Martin Secondary School, Dominica Grammar School, Wesley High School, and the Goodwill Secondary School. You're watching National Focus. More when we return.
Let's have some fun, eh?
I'm not ready for your kind of fun yet.
But everybody else is doing it.
But I'm not everybody else. I'm me, and I want to do well in school.
Well, you definitely get an A for attitude.
I plan to get an A in life, and then I think of your kind of fun.
So what am I to do in the meantime?
You'll survive.
Say no when you're not ready. Use condoms when you are.
Marshall Alexander, Weather Forecaster, Dominica Meteorological Service. Shower and thunderstorm activity associated with a broad area of low pressure located about 450 miles east of the Windward Islands continue to show signs of organization, and a tropical cyclone could be forming. If this trend continues, a tropical depression or a tropical storm could form this afternoon into tonight, while the system moves west-northwestwards to westwards at about 20 miles per hour towards the Lesser Antilles. The general public is strongly advised to monitor the progress of this system, as a tropical storm watch or warning may be issued for Dominica at any time once the system has been upgraded. The system is expected to bring moderate to heavy rains, scattered thunderstorms, and strong gusty winds, possibly to tropical storm force, across Dominica beginning tonight and continuing into Wednesday and Thursday. Current rainfall projections is between 3 to 6 inches or 75 to 150 millimeters, with higher amounts in elevated areas. Dangerous seas are also expected, with waves near 14 feet. Both inland and coastal flooding is therefore possible. Mariners and other users of the sea are advised to be extremely cautious and to remain in port. Persons in areas prone to flooding, landslides, and falling rocks are advised to be extremely vigilant and to exercise extreme caution, as flash flooding and strong winds are possible. Persons in vulnerable areas should plan ahead and take all precautionary measures to protect life and property, particularly from tonight into Wednesday and Thursday. The Dominica Meteorological Service will continue to provide updates on the progress of this system.
Welcome back. The Ministry of Agriculture is once again observing Pesticides Awareness Week under the theme Manage Pesticides Responsibly, Adapt to Climate Change. Pesticides Awareness Week is geared to improve and control the use of pesticides in the English-speaking Caribbean countries. The Honorable Minister for Agriculture, Johnson Drago, stated that two important areas are highlighted in this year's theme, which are relevant to all Dominicans.
Firstly, the responsible management of pesticides, including household pesticides, and secondly, climate change. We have to appreciate that climate change has brought about a complete change to our approach to conducting our affairs. This includes farming and management of pest and disease, management of disease-causing vector in human, and importantly too, the use and management of our environment. The advent of climate change has presented increasing vulnerabilities to small developing states like Dominica and predisposed human existence to many risks, including the introduction of new pests and diseases and their management in agriculture.
Honorable Drago emphasized the need for proper management of pesticides within the farming community.
The use of pesticide to combat these new pests and diseases, while being necessary, has increased over the years. So having set the basis for increased use, the responsibility for proper use and management must be underscored. Every farmer in Dominica, every household or commercial enterprise must be aware of responsible action on use of chemicals to safeguard humans and animal life and proper care of the environment.
He outlined some of the ministry's concerns about pesticide management.
Areas of concern includes importation and sale of pesticide, effective storage and disposal of pesticides and their containers, calibration and use of proper equipment, use of the right pesticide for the prevailing problem, proper dosage and measurement, and proper clothing at application.
The Honorable Minister noted that Dominica, a member of the coordinating groups of Pesticide Control Board of the Caribbean, is fulfilling its obligation as it relates to obsolete pesticide disposal.
On the 26th day of August 2016, 3 tons of obsolete pesticide were shipped from Dominica to be properly disposed of in the United Kingdom. This significantly reduces the risk of contaminating waterways and land in the event of a disaster, natural or otherwise. The theme chosen for this year, Manage Pesticides Responsibly, Adapt to Climate Change, is relevant and current to Dominica. As such, we must follow the rest of the world in this global action to manage pesticides. This only augurs well for us.
Activities for the week include sensitization and training sessions, radio broadcasts, school visits, and dissemination of promotional material to the general public. Available rooms for the month of October are going fast. This is according to World Creole Music Festival consultant Val Coffey. Speaking at a press conference last week, Coffey noted that hotels, guest houses, and nationals with available accommodations are advising WCMF patrons to book rooms as soon as possible.
A number of properties people have been calling. We are actually putting a database together in terms of homes that are available. But most of the people who call to come to the festival want to stay within the Roseau catchment area, which is what we have been saying. So you'll find all the properties, hotels, guest houses, including Kent Anthony Guest House. They are already filled to capacity. So Mabas is filled, so everybody wants to stay within Roseau. So you can imagine if Mabas and Kent Anthony is filled, then Fort Young, Garraway, all these other properties within this area, this certain place, the bands need to be accommodated. These guys, when they come to your island, they want suites, they want a good king bed. Not everybody is 4 feet, 5 feet. So people want to get the accommodation that's standard, what they normally look for. But definitely we are working. People are sprucing up their apartments and getting ready. So we just driving information to them, and as we get it, and people are advertising on social media as well. And Wadix and Ezra did the bit in terms of getting people sensitized, and we informing the travel agents as we go along.
And finally, the Dominica Festivals Committee has promised 1,000 seats filled from its airline partners. Last week, World Creole Music Festival promoter Leroy Charles revealed that the partners such as Liat and Winair have committed to providing flights for WCMF patrons during the month of October, regardless of the recent cutting of routes across the region.
We promoted in Antigua and St. Martin, and in relationships and discussions with Liat, they have endorsed the World Creole Music Festival and are a partner in the World Creole Music Festival, and will do whatever possible to see to it that if the flights are full, they can even add on more flights. Likewise, Winair from Antigua and St. Martin, and the boss of Winair promised us over 1,000 seats between Canefield and Melville Hall for the period of the World Creole Music Festival.
And that's news. Coming up next, your tip of the day.
There is a silent, invisible killer in our midst, a killer which largely goes unnoticed as it plies its deadly trade. Its name is secondhand tobacco smoke, which has a far greater impact on persons inhaling this poison than on smokers themselves. Secondhand tobacco smoke is especially detrimental in public places and negatively impacts our national health as well as public health expenditure. Stop this invisible killer now. Say no to secondhand tobacco smoke in public places. A public health message brought to you by the Ministry of Health and the Pan American Health Organization.
As a parent, you are your child's first and most important teacher. When parents and families are involved in their children's schools, the children do better and have better feelings about going to school. Here's one way you can get involved. Make sure that your child gets homework done. Let your child know that you think education is important and that homework needs to be done each day. You can help your child with homework by setting aside a special place to study, establishing a regular time for homework, and removing distractions such as the television and social phone calls during homework time. Helping your child with homework ensures that it gets done. And that's all for this edition of National Focus. We always welcome your suggestions and comments. Drop us an email at gis@dominica.gov.dm or visit our website news.gov.dm. Like our Facebook page, facebook.com/GIS Dominica, and follow us on Twitter at GIS Dominica. You can also catch up on past National Focus newscasts on our GIS Dominica YouTube channel. Live streaming is also available on our YouTube channel 24 hours a day. From all of us here on the GIS News production team, I'm Kimani. Thank you for watching.